Hey, it's Brian with the Daily News Autos. This is the 2017 Lincoln MKZ. Now, Lincoln's refreshed the MKZ for this year. They've given it their new signature grille, a couple tweaks to the options and interior, and most importantly, a brand new power plant under the hood, which we'll get into later. But what I'm here to find out is the whole of this Lincoln greater than the sum of all the new little parts? Let's take a look. The MKZ's 2017 refresh includes a suite of new styling cues. The front end now echoes the Continental sedan, and it's Lincoln's new signature grille. While I do miss the split wing grille because it was unique, I think this is a better application of style, even if it is a little bit more anonymous. Overall though, the MKZ is still a sleek looking car, and it still has pretty much the same proportions as the last generation. I love the tapered rear end, and I'm glad they decided not to mess with the rear fascia as well, because the horizontal taillights is one of my favorite design cues on any modern luxury car. This MKZ also includes the driver's package, which adds these awesome 19-inch wheels and a couple more aggressive styling cues. It also adds some really handsome black and white leather seats in the interior and some carbon fiber trim, which is a nice breakup from the usual wood or other aluminum trim that you'd find in Lincoln. The MKZ's interior is also improved for 2017, and while there are a couple suspect trim pieces, they're much harder to find this time around. Soft touch materials line the dashboard and along where you might rest your knees and elbows, and everything that's actually leather in the interior feels really high quality. There are also some really nice thoughtful design touches too, like the speakers that come with the fantastic 19-speaker Revel Ultima system from Harman. There are comfort features like heated, ventilated, and massaging seats, ambient lighting, smart climate control, and the awesome light show when you approach the vehicle that's been dubbed the Lincoln Embrace. This is all in addition to the commonplace suite of connectivity features, navigation, and a handy mobile app that can let you control functions in the car, including remote start from afar. Comfort levels are pretty solid in the rear seat as well. The rear seat passengers will find they have plenty of legroom and similar supportive seats to the front. Cargo space is solid as well, with the ability to accommodate 2 suitcases and a couple extra bags. Now, the real party piece of the 2017 MKZ is the new engine they've thrown under the hood. It's a 3-liter twin-turbocharged V6 that makes 400 horsepower. That's right, 400. Those are numbers that were previously reserved for things like muscle cars and supercars, but now you can have it in a mid-size luxury sedan. And while 400 is a huge number, and this thing is certainly fast, it's not as brutal as you'd expect. Power comes on in a really linear fashion when you put your foot down, and this thing just sort of cruises along to 60 miles an hour and beyond, much like the Millennium Falcon, we'll say. Handling too is improved, especially with this driver's package. This is an all-wheel drive car in this iteration. You can also have front-wheel drive for a little bit less money than the all-wheel drive. But the all-wheel drive car has excellent traction, and when you add the driver's package, it actually adds active torque vectoring too. So when you dart into the corners with this thing, you will hardly feel understeer at all because the outside wheels will accommodate and add more power to keep you moving as linearly through the turn as possible. That makes for a pretty sporty driving experience and something that feels this big and cushy and comfortable. It's not the most exciting thing in the world because you're not, white-knuckled throwing it into every single corner, and the steering feel is still on the lighter side, even in sport mode. But acceleration is great, the grip and handling are absolutely fantastic, and this Lincoln's a lot better to drive than you might expect. So as a whole then, the MKZ is actually a bit of a conundrum. It's tempting to compare it to things at the lower end of the price bracket, especially like the Buick LaCrosse and Chrysler 300, fully loaded. But in reality, this thing has the option sheet and the performance to compete with cars that are worth sometimes $10,000 or $15,000 more. Sure, you won't get the brand prestige that you get from something like a Mercedes, but if you look at it as a package, this Lincoln starts to make a lot of sense. Well, that's all for now. I'm Brian with the Daily News Autos, and we'll see you next time.